Hi, Nicole. Looking back, I would definitely mark this microtalks experience as one of the most valuable highlights in my year at HKU. In the first part of this reflection video, I will reflect on how this microtalks experience has contributed to my development as an English teacher in training. So, I frame this video not only on whether specific procedures went right or wrong, but also how these discrete techniques support a micro-level shift in my professional understanding of teaching. This experience has made me a better teacher, not only about perfecting these techniques, but also profoundly by challenging my pre-existing assumptions about teaching and learning. One major area of growth for me was my understanding of teacher professionalism as intentional and reflective decision-making rather than simply delivering a smooth lesson. So a key shift was my growing awareness of goal-oriented teaching. I realized that learning objectives should not only exist on the lesson plan, they need to actively guide the instructional decision throughout the lesson. I now see professional teaching as continuously asking why a task is being used and how it helps learner to move closer to the intended learning outcome. Without this alignment, classroom activities may appear smooth on the surface level but remain pedagogically questionable. And this point was further reinforced by Mrs. Dina's suggestion to make the learning objective more visible and maybe move a little bit forward in the slides. Regardless of whether the lesson is innovative or traditional, students should have a clear sense of what they are going to do in the next 30 minutes, and ideally we tell them from the very beginning. So making objective these explicit could help them to understand the purpose of this lesson and every activities, but also they can position themselves as active participants of the learning process. Another important professional insight concerned attention management. Mrs. Dina's feedback about giving instruction before distributing worksheets helped me realize that professionalism involves anticipating students' behavior in real classroom context. Students are not inattentive by nature. Instead, we are responsible for designing conditions that make attention possible and sustainable. How and when instructions are given can significantly affect their willingness to engage. And finally, dealing with the unexpected technical issues which appeared in our lesson also highlighted professionalism as adaptive ability rather than viewing them as purely disruptions. I've come to see them as everyday classroom ecology, Although we have checked the technology multiple times, and we always try to do so, this unpleasant experience reshaped my belief that professional teachers are not those completely avoid problems, but those who remain calm, flexible, and also pedagogically responsive when challenges came. From a pedagogical perspective, this experience has also taught me that learning is shaped by interaction design and not just by activity type. For instance, Mrs. Dina's suggestion on large group size reminded me that when groups are too large, individual input and processing opportunities can be reduced. This helped me see that group work must always be pedagogically justified. Smaller groups increase accountability and engagement. Larger groups which should have more closer teacher monitoring and clearer role structures. This insight shifted my thinking from simply using group work to deliberately design interaction. Mrs. Dina's feedback also pointed out that writing instructions and technological terms on boards also help learners, because effective pedagogy always depends on how input is presented. It was not just a strategy for clarity, it also reflected that learners process information in different ways. In terms of questioning, we also need to pay attention to rhetorical questions versus genuine questions. Teachers' questions are not neutral. We must pay attention that sometimes the question is optional and sometimes the question is expected. The answer is expected. Techniques such as countdowns, also indirect cold calling, which can keep all the students cognitively engaged throughout the lesson. On a more personal level, the microtalks experience has also prompted me to rethink about my teacher identity. I began to aware that during the lesson, much of our attention was focused on maintaining the activity flow, pacing, and engagement. While this helped the lesson to move smoothly on the surface, I gradually realized that interaction does not always translate to equal participation for every student, particularly the quieter ones or the less confident ones. They have limited opportunities to participate meaningfully. So this realization led me to rethink that my previous understandings of what it means to be a successful teacher. I began to recognize that effectiveness is not measured by solely energy, fluency, and classroom momentum, but also by how well all learners are cognitively engaged. As a result, I've set some new goals. To balance dynamic classroom engagement with closer attention to the quieter learners, hesitant speakers, and those who may disengage without specifically drawing attention to, I want to become the kind of teacher who not only has energetic interaction but also notices hesitation, uneven participation, and some silent misunderstanding. Move from performance-oriented teaching towards a more learner-centered sense of professionalism. So, if I were to teach a follow-up lesson to the same class on the next day, I would design a writing session titled The Feeling Good Factory, Flipping the Mood. So this lesson takes the grammar we taught yesterday and transform it from a vocabulary tour for description into a writing tour for perspective taking and emotional intelligence. Next, the core task, story retelling. Each group will get a story retell toolkit. It contains their original character cards from yesterday and a new twist card. The twist introduces a new challenge. For example, Leo loses a big competition, and their mission is to rewrite their character states based on this new negative incidents, and then flip their mode from a bad to positive one. They must produce two things. First, a new timeline of the morning and afternoon using the connecting frames from yesterday, and second, a feeling good flip, which is a small but positive intervention that can make their character feel slightly better by the day's end. For example, a teammate says something encouraging, and as a teacher, I become a mood officer, circulating to prompt deeper thinking.
So the loss was indeed disappointed. How does that make your character feel? So what's one comforting thing that can happen?
So this stage lasts 20 minutes, is collaborative, purposeful, and also drives language use. So why this design? 3 reasons. First, it moves from mechanical practice into creative writing and problem solving. Students are not just using adjectives, they are using them to build and alter the narratives, which requires higher order thinking and foster genuine ownership of the language. And second, for our Band 1 mixed ability students, it offers built-in differentiation. The core task here is accessible with our sentence frames from yesterday, while also pushes advanced learner to explore more subtle adjective pairs. This collaborative and project-based format caters to their preference for group work, but also with a more mature and purpose-driven focus. And second, the lesson is a suitable sequel. It uses the same characters, same grammar, and same sentence frames from yesterday, ensuring consistency. However, it also evolves the theme from inputs-oriented to output production. These two sections transition smoothly from Lesson 1, Awareness, to Lesson 2, Agency. Thank you for watching.